One of my absolute favorite fun facts about Islands of Adventure is that every single land is actually themed after a book. Today's video comes with a little bit of a disclaimer before we get into things. I am fully aware of how triggering and controversial some of the properties within Islands of Adventure are. With that being said, that is not what today's video is about. Today's video is about the design and the beauty of the story of Islands of Adventure, not the controversial stories or their authors. If you would like me to do a video about the controversial topics, please let me know in the comments because I am more than happy to do that. Today's video, though, is focused just on what Islands of Adventure is. If you are interested in that, let's get to Islands of Adventure.
Books are more than just words on pages. They are doorways to adventure. Every time you open a book, you step into a new world, a new perspective, a new way of thinking. Books let you live 1,000 lives. You can fall in love, face your fears, be the hero, learn some new lessons, and go on adventures. Every book you read leaves a piece of itself with you, and Islands of Adventure brings that to life.
The theming around Islands of Adventure is one of my absolute favorite things about Universal Studios. And it's one of those things that I think unless you really stop and look around, you don't realize that they're all books. But there's also some of them that I don't think people even realize are books. As soon as you walk in, you are hit with stories. Now, Port of Entry actually has 2 different books that it is themed around. Around the World in 80 Days and Arabian Nights.
When you step into Port of Entry in Islands of Adventure, you're not just entering a theme park, you're stepping into a story. You can see Arabian Nights and Around the World in 80 Days in the architecture and the feeling of a bustling marketplace from somewhere far away and long ago. It's designed as a gateway between worlds where you leave behind life and step into the stories. These stories are about journeys into the unknown, discovering new cultures, and chasing adventure.
One area of the park that I think most of us do realize is on the written word is Marvel Superhero Landing with the Marvel comics. Now, I love a good Marvel comic. Captain America has always been my favorite superhero, and I have read so many different Marvel comics as well as DC, but that's not in this park. Marvel Superhero Landing is a cute area. And it's important to realize that it is based off of the comics and that it is designed to be putting us into the comics and not the MCU. Now, I don't know all the legalities of it. I don't know all the details, but I do know that there is an agreement and a contract with Disney and Marvel and Universal that on this side of the Mississippi, Disney is not allowed to represent in Disney World any Marvel character that is seen in Universal Islands of Adventure. So that is how come we don't see more of like an Avengers campus in Disney World, but in Disneyland it's okay. So if you want to see your Marvel superheroes, head on over to Islands of Adventure. But just know, it is designed for us to be stepping into the comics.
Marvel didn't start as the massive universe we know today. In 1939, originally called Timely Comics, some classic characters first hit the pages. In the 1960s, the Marvel we know and love was born at the hands of Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Steve Ditko. Instead of giving us untouchable heroes, they were reimagined to be more flawed and human. The X-Men are outsiders looking for acceptance. The Hulk is a reflection of anger and loss. Spider-Man is just a teenager trying to balance all his responsibilities. This is how come Marvel is still having the impact it is today. These characters don't just save the world, they have stories we connect with. Marvel taps into something emotional. They're about identity, grief, courage, and belonging. They remind us that even when life is messy or overwhelming, there's still strength in showing up and trying. That's exactly what makes stepping into Marvel's Superhero Island so much fun. Suddenly, those stories aren't just on the pages, we are living them. There's this energy and excitement that hits you immediately. It's playful, it's nostalgic, and it lets you be a kid again. Marvel started as stories on paper, but it grew into something we can feel, experience, and step inside.
Now, I personally love Toon Lagoon, but I grew up with the Sunday morning comics, so I know these characters. Does everybody know these characters, though? We need to go on a little journey together because I don't actually have what I need for Toon Lagoon. Let's go.
This all morning. And then when it looked like you escaped,
For me, the way I've always known what Toon Lagoon was the newspaper. This is my local paper. I don't even know, honestly, if they still have comics in here. I also don't know if that was only on Sunday or it is Wednesday when I'm filming this, so let's see if I can find it. We found them. Okay, so it's in the life section. And we have Toon Lagoon, guys.
Toon Lagoon isn't just bright, chaotic, and fun. It's actually a love letter to the history of newspaper comics. Before TV, before social media, even before most homes had radios, people found entertainment in the daily newspaper. Right there on the pages were the comic strips, short, funny, and sometimes heartfelt stories that became a part of everyday life. Characters like Blondie, Popeye, and Beetle Bailey aren't just cartoons, they are cultural icons. People followed their stories, clipped their favorite strips, and shared them with family and friends. That's what Toon Lagoon captures. It takes flat black and white comics and brings them to life in full color. It allows you to step inside the funny pages. It reminds us when stories were simple, shared, and part of our everyday connections. Toon Lagoon isn't just a place to get soaked on rides. It's a celebration of where so much modern storytelling began.
King Kong is mostly known as a movie, and I think that this really is something that a lot of people don't realize was a book first.
In December of 1932, a novelization of King Kong was published just a few months before the film premiered in March 1933. It was part of an early marketing strategy, building anticipation and giving audiences a deeper look into the story before they ever saw it on screen. King Kong isn't just another monster movie. It is a groundbreaking film with revolutionary stop-motion effects and a surprisingly emotional story. Kong became more than a monster. He became a symbol of those that are misunderstood. Nearly a century later, King Kong is still being adapted on pages, screens, and in theme parks. The Kong Skull Island ride is his story, with one of my all-time favorite animatronics.
Jurassic Park are movies that we've all really grown to love, but it started as a classic book by Michael Crichton.
In 1990, Michael Crichton introduced the world to the thrillingly terrifying idea of what if we brought dinosaurs back to life, ultimately answering the question of why we shouldn't. The book is intense and dark and deeply rooted in science and ethics. In 1993, Steven Spielberg brought it to the big screen and completely changed movie history. The film takes a complex story and makes it real. The dinosaurs were alive and paired with an iconic score evoking feelings of awe, fear, and excitement. I truly love everything about Jurassic Park. Islands of Adventure captures all these feelings. Walking through Jurassic Park, you're not just remembering the movie, you are experiencing it. The towering gates, the jungle atmosphere, the raptor encounter, the sense that something incredible and thrilling can happen at any moment. It takes a story that started on paper, that became something iconic on the screen, and lets you live it whenever you want.
I think one of our more obvious books in Islands of Adventure is Harry Potter. Now, I'm holding Prisoner of Azkaban because it's the first time we see Hogsmeade in Harry Potter is Prisoner of Azkaban.
Walking into Hogsmeade at Islands of Adventure feels like stepping into a story that so many of us grew up with. Harry Potter is about friendship, bravery, belonging, and finding your place. As a Hufflepuff through and through, that part has always mattered to me. Hogsmeade brings that storytelling to life in such an immersive way. From the snow-covered rooftops to the sounds of magic all around and the little details everywhere, it makes you feel like you've truly taken the Hogwarts Express to a different world. Hogsmeade is also home to what is widely considered the best ride in all of Universal Studios, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, where you board Sirius Black's motorbike, given to Hagrid to transport Harry and go on a wild adventure. There's no Hogwarts without you, Hagrid. That is just another way that this area is so special. Hogsmeade takes a story that has meant so much to so many and allowed us to be a part of it. There are specific quotes from the books that have always stayed with me, and given more current knowledge, hit a little harder. In the words of Sirius Black, we've all got light and dark inside us. What matters is the part we choose to act on.
Lost Continent, which will be going away soon, is originally themed after gods and goddesses. Now, yes, these are stories that you can see in many movies, many miniseries, many TV shows, but they all started as written word passed down from generations to generations with some of the coolest stories that there are. But this area is going away very, very soon. And all my hope is that it stays part of the written word.
The Lost Continent has always had a different vibe. It's quieter, more mysterious, allowing you to step into something ancient. It is rooted in stories that shaped storytelling itself. Long before modern books, movies, and theme parks, myths were how people understood the world. Stories of lost cities, powerful beings, and epic journeys were passed down for generations. These weren't just stories, they were lessons and adventures. Every story we love today, whether superheroes, love, magic, or adventure, started here.
We all know that Lost Continent is gone. It's going away. I mean, it still exists right now, so you can come explore a little bit, but it is going. My hope for Lost Continent is one of two things. I'm hoping for either Lord of the Rings, which I think they could keep a lot of like the structures that they have already if we do that, or Wicked. Now take it away, Colleen from back home, with information on why. Thank you so much, Colleen from the past. So how come I think Lord of the Rings or Wicked would be a great addition to Islands of Adventure? Well, Lord of the Rings, even though the copy I have is the movie on the front, they do it to help sell them. What can I say? It is a classic novel. It is something that has existed for ages. It is a great story with so much that we can do because they can lean into the hobbits, into the elves, into everyone, and bring us this whole immersive world, which Universal is so good at doing. This is also a story that is beloved by so many different people. It is a story that has people who started with these books and The Hobbit and grew into being fans of the movies. There are people who just know it as a movie, and that's okay too. But it keeps in the theme of this being a book, and I love that detail.
The Lord of the Rings feels like it was made for theme parks. The series of books by Tolkien are full of rich world building, so detailed that you could envision it long before Peter Jackson brought it to life. A Lord of the Rings land can show us Frodo's journey filled with fear, perseverance, and friendship.
Also, tell me you don't think it would be cool to be able to like go into the Shire, like make it that we can go inside it. I want to go inside. I want to tour. Maybe have a restaurant that is inside of like a hobbit hole. Like, I think that would be so cool. Just personal opinion. And the hobbits are really big on eating. They have first breakfast, second breakfast, all of that stuff. The food options we could have would be so awesome. I would love that. And like I said, you don't even need to redesign some of the stuff because some of it looks already like it's out of Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings would be great, Universal. Great. Okay, I promise. I'll move on to Wicked now. So how come Wicked? Wicked, while the movie that we have grown to know and love and the stage show that has been around for decades, is not exactly what we get in the book. If you know, you know, it's very different. It is still based off of this book, Wicked. And Wicked is such a huge IP right now. And I think there is so much beauty that could be built with giving us Shiz or the Emerald City or even the Munchkins. That would be so cool. There's also a lot of opportunities for different rides. They literally take a boat. We could do a slow moving boat ride. And I think that that is something that Universal misses a lot, is rides for everyone. They nail the thrill rides, but then there's a lot of screens. There's not really dark rides. There's not really slow moving boat rides, which I adore. And Wicked sets us up for that. We could have a ride where we fly with Elphaba. We could have a photo op, which they do have in the store right now. See the picture? Where we are inside Glinda's bubble. There are so many opportunities with Wicked, and it is a land that would just be, again, very immersive and very beautiful and still based on a book.
Using the book as inspiration, but due to darker themes leaning more into the movies with the colors, spectacle, music, and emotions, Wicked translates perfectly to theme parks. At its core, Wicked is about identity, being misunderstood, and friendship. There could be a stage show featuring some of the iconic songs, a fine dining restaurant inside the Emerald City, and rides that everyone could enjoy. It wouldn't be just a land, it would be an experience. I had to add this clip in because I thought it was hilarious that my local Barnes & Noble has a section where Wicked and Lord of the Rings are literally right next to each other. They feel the same as me.
Yes, some are red and some are blue. Some are old and some are new. Some are sad and some are glad. And some are very, very bad. Yes, Seuss Landing is after books that we all had and read in our childhood. This one is another one of those very obvious books around the parks because who doesn't know Dr. Seuss? And I won't lie, Seuss Landing, my absolute favorite part of all of Islands of Adventure. And that's coming from a girl who considers Jurassic Park her favorite movie and has read the Harry Potter series way too many times. Too many times. But I love Seuss Landing.
Seuss Landing is where imagination takes over. Inspired by the stories of Dr. Seuss, this area brings to life a world where nothing is straight, everything is colorful, and creativity has no limits. I mean it when I say this is my favorite land. I love the green eggs and ham tots, and there's something about being here that just feels playful and comforting at the same time. Even the Cat in the Hat ride is the perfect mix of creepy and fun. Like, it's chaotic enough to keep you on your toes, but still full of the classic Seuss charm. The animatronics are the things nightmares are made of, which makes the theming perfect. But beyond the whimsy, these stories have real meaning. They teach us about kindness, individuality, and seeing the world differently, reminding us that imagination and compassion never really grow up. Stories that started on pages became worlds we can walk through, feel, and experience in ways that stay with us long after we leave. From magic and mythology to heroes, adventure, and imagination, books give us the foundation for it all. They teach us, shape us, and remind us who we are and who we can become. And that's the real magic.
There you have it. Islands of Adventure is all about books, or written word in general, because Toon Lagoon, while there are books of it, it's more so the comic strips. But that's what I love about theme parks, are these hidden little details, these things that you may not readily recognize. But if you take a second, you take a step back, you look at the details, and you think, you might make that connection. And the thing that is really fun with Islands of Adventure and how every part of it started as a book is some of them you don't even realize, like King Kong. And I'm sure there's tons of people who don't realize that Jurassic Park was a book first. It's actually a really great book. You guys should read that too. It's very different from the movies. Lost World is even more different, but Jurassic Park is different from the movies. So check them out because they're actually really good books too. But I love that so much, that they're books. And I really hope that this continues with Lost Continent being redesigned and rethemed. I have my two that I'm hoping for. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see replace Lost Continent that started as a book. And I'm stressing that because I know there is a lot of talk about Pokemon coming to Universal. And don't get me wrong, I like Pokemon. I think it's fun. I am a personal fan of the evolutions, but I don't want it at Islands of Adventure because, correct me if I'm wrong, while there are books now about Pokemon, it started as a game, not as a book. So it can go be in Universal Studios or at Epic Universe. But let Islands of Adventure always be about the written word. Be about the other ways that we can go on adventures and find stories. because I love a good book, and I think that we should encourage that a little bit more. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and go check out my video talking about mental health tips around Islands of Adventure, because you'll be kind of surprised at the places that I found for us to take little mental health breaks. And I hope you find your magical balance and a new adventure in a book.